Coming up next on Pennsylvania Newsmakers, drive a car, truck, or motorcycle in Pennsylvania? Then if the answer is yes, you won't want to miss our segment on Pennsylvania's highways and the state of where they stand right now. But first, the seasons are changing, and that means big business for Pennsylvania's travel and tourism destinations who are eager to welcome you this fall season. That's coming up next on Pennsylvania Newsmakers.
Welcome to the fast-paced and unrehearsed weekly discussion featuring the leaders who help shape your world. Join us as we address the issues that impact you each and every day. This is Pennsylvania Newsmakers. And now, here's your host.
Hello, I'm Steve Aaron, this week's guest host on Pennsylvania Newsmakers. Well, have you had your first pumpkin spice latte of the season or made plans with the family to visit one of those haunted corn mazes? It may technically still be summer, but the overnight temperatures certainly feel like we're heading toward fall, and it's a great opportunity to talk about travel and tourism in Pennsylvania. They've already flipped the calendar, and they're looking forward to having you this season. So I'm delighted to welcome Sharon Myers, the president and CEO of Visit Hershey and Harrisburg, to join us. How are you?
I'm good, Steve. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Great to have you with us. Tell us a little bit about your organization, and this must be a busy time of year for you.
It is. It's very busy. We're a year-round destination, but we love fall for sure. So Visit Hershey Harrisburg is the destination marketing organizations for both Dauphin and Perry County. We support all tourism promotion for all of the tourism assets that we have here. And the purpose of it is because we drive economic impact. It's what we do. It's what we love, and we're really happy to do it.
I think so many Pennsylvanians understand and appreciate the role agriculture plays in driving our economy. It's one of our largest economic drivers, and I know you worked at the Pennsylvania Farm Show for many years, but travel and tourism obviously plays a huge part. Tell us about kind of how it fits into the overall economic picture.
Yeah, so it's an amazing story. So agriculture, number one, tourism, number two, and the Farm Show complex fits right into that because they support both. So, you know, what a great asset to have in the Commonwealth. But tourism in the state of Pennsylvania is about $80 billion in economic impact. That's jobs, that's food being eaten, that's, you know, farms being able to grow food for people to eat, you know, people staying, again, in hotels, buying gas, shopping in stores, all of that. And as a result of that, $4.1 billion of that actually comes to Dauphin County directly, again, through all the great tourism assets that we have here. It's about $276,000 in tax relief, right? So every time someone buys something and they pay, you know, a sales tax, it goes into the state's budget. So it really does have a significant impact. Without tourism in this region and across the Commonwealth in general, we would look a whole lot different than we do now. So this is a time of year when kids are now back in school. I think most people have thought, oh, we've already taken our big vacations, but I get the sense in the fall it's great, like, you know, long weekend, day trips, things like that. What are some of the opportunities that are available to people who are thinking about fall travel and tourism? So first of all, you know, if you love the leaves, this is the best time of year, right? And Pennsylvania has the best leaves just because of our different, you know, varied altitudes and changing weather. So lots of state parks to visit, you know, specifically here. But there's lots of other things to do as well. So, you know, Hershey Park in the dark, you know, if you're into the haunted, into just, you know, Halloween, Hershey and dark in general, it's great. There's also, you know, you mentioned food. People love the fall, the pumpkin, the spice. So we have breweries that are doing pumpkin beers. We have lots of restaurants doing farm-to-table ingredients this time of year. And then again, just, you know, walking riverfront or seeing Fort Hunter, the covered bridges in Perry County. It's a great time to be outside hiking, biking, walking. And, you know, let's talk about the festivals across the state and specifically here as well. Lots and lots of festivals support tourism this time of year.
Right, that's something that's easy for families to do, to build weekends around things like that rather than planning a week-long trip, for example.
Yes, absolutely, and very last minute, right? You wake up, it's a beautiful day, and you say, hey, let's see what's out there and go visit. So yeah, lots of different festivals. Again, the pumpkin patches, the corn mazes, you know, lots of things that are fairly inexpensive, which is nice for families.
You mentioned Hershey Park, and you have Hershey in your name, which is synonymous with fun and family. Does that make you a little bit unique in regards to some of your partners around the state and the regions they serve?
We are very, very fortunate to have Hershey and Harrisburg in our name. You know, Hershey is such a great tourism asset, just a great partner of ours. They do it well. You won't find a cleaner park. And outside the park, you have Hershey Gardens, which does, this time of year is beautiful to stroll. And so, yeah, having Hershey, we definitely have an advantage over a lot of other destinations for sure.
All right, we're going to break here. We're going to continue our conversation about fall travel and tourism right after this.
This broadcast of Pennsylvania Newsmakers is presented by the Pennsylvania Chamber of Business and Industry, the statewide voice of business, and by the Pennsylvania State Education Association, bringing the power of a great education to our schools, our students, and our communities. This broadcast of Pennsylvania Newsmakers is brought to you by the Pennsylvania Highway Information Association, the go-to source to learn about transportation projects and issues. Please visit pahighwayinfo.org. And by the Pennsylvania Manufacturers Association. Business in Pennsylvania is our business.
And we're continuing our conversation about travel and tourism in the fall here in Pennsylvania with Sharon Myers with Visit Hershey and Harrisburg. I had a chance to be at the Philadelphia Phillies game earlier this week, and there was a huge promotion to visit Virginia in the ballpark, right? Virginia is for lovers. That campaign was all over the ballpark, obviously trying to encourage Pennsylvanians to travel south. Is it safe to assume that if you go to ballparks or other places, maybe in Washington or Baltimore, that you'd see promotions trying to encourage people up to Pennsylvania in the fall?
Yeah, absolutely. It's an old trade secret, right? So we do a lot in New York. We work really closely with Visit PA, which is the state tourism office. They're just a tremendous team there. And without their support, we couldn't advertise the way we do. They support all the tourism destinations across the entire state. There's 67 counties. We all have destination marketing organizations. We partner with them to do a lot of marketing. So we do our primary focus as we see visitors coming to Hershey Harrisburg from New York, Philadelphia, DC, Baltimore. That's where we focus our marketing efforts. We know that the people that drive 50 plus miles are the ones that spend the most money here, and so we work with them to advertise in those areas. Philadelphia train station, Visit PA actually did a big buyout there. There's all kinds of banners and wall hangings and such to really promote the region. So we're real happy to work with them. And
there really is so much to do. I know we've talked about things in this region in central Pennsylvania, but I know you've got some tips and travel ideas if you wanted to get across the state. Yeah, I mean, again, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania is an amazing tourism destination. We have so much for everyone. Whether it be Lake Erie and Prescott Island, looking at the lake, all the way across to Philadelphia and the region there, and everything in between. The state parks in the state of Pennsylvania are amazing. This time of year, fall foliage again, just absolutely amazing. Being able to look at, Gettysburg, do a walk through the battlefield, take a ride on the train. We have, Ricketts Glen with its waterfalls, and the leaves reflect off the waterfalls. Kinzu Bridge, you can walk out. It was the highest railroad bridge. That's now a tourism destination where you can walk out and look at the leaves. But so many things in Pennsylvania. You mentioned haunted houses earlier on. For some reason, Pennsylvania is like one of the top destinations for haunted attractions. Not my thing, but people love it. I'd rather look at the leaves. But yeah, lots of great assets in Pennsylvania for sure. You can look at the leaves as they scare the bejesus out of
That's
you,
right?
As you walk.
That's right.
It has become very popular. You're right.
Exactly.
I know. My wife and I loved the rail trails and biking, and in the fall with the leaves is beautiful. Like Jim Thorpe has that wonderful train, right, that takes you up and you can ride down. Yes. I think in partnership with DCNR. So there's so many of those opportunities, right, for just to be out and about. Yes, biking, hiking, kayaking on the river this time of year is beautiful, but outdoor activity has really become something that tourism promotion offices are focusing on. We have trails maps. We are working with DCNR to create additional maps, the rail trails. We're actually looking here in Dauphin County to do some new connections between other counties and the trails that we have, because we know that people come in, and again, when you get visitor come here, even if it's across the bridge, they spend money. So yeah, there's
so many outdoor activities that we can take advantage of.
Tell me a little bit about the approaching 250th anniversary of our nation, right? I mean, Pennsylvania is going to be at the center of all of that. What sort of opportunities are you working on and looking forward to for next year?
So first of all, yesterday, we actually did a reveal at Chocolate World. They have one of the 250 bells. It's called Bells Across America, and they are Bells Across Pennsylvania, and they are multiple Liberty bells that are actually designed by artists. So the bell that you will see at Chocolate World now through all of 2026 has just a variety of attractions painted on the bell. There'll be a number of them across the state. So we do have that. But yeah, 250 is going to be a big year, right? So we're celebrating the nation. Lots of local communities as well as larger cities are doing all kinds of parades and putting together tours, really taking the effort out of it. We know Philadelphia is going to be big for 2026, and we're really fortunate because we're a quick train ride from Philly to here. So we're hoping to capture that and get visitors to come here. We also have a number of sporting events for 2026. We have the FIFA World Cup. We're going to host some fan zones across the state. We have Major League Baseball. We have the NFL Draft. 2026 in Pennsylvania is going to be just a force to be reckoned with, and we're really happy to take the stage.
Well, Sharon, thanks so much for joining us, telling us about the future and the fall. There's so many great things to do across Pennsylvania. Really appreciate you joining us.
Steve, thanks for having me.
You bet. Well, up next, if you're going to visit someplace fun in the fall, you'll likely need to travel a Pennsylvania highway to get there. We're going to discuss the state of our roads and how to improve them when we return on Pennsylvania Newsmakers.
This broadcast of Pennsylvania Newsmakers is brought to you by Cross-State Credit Union Association. Credit unions, where people are worth more than money. To find a credit union that is right for you, visit crossstate.org. And by the Energy Association of Pennsylvania, Pennsylvania's energy information source. This broadcast of Pennsylvania Newsmakers is brought to you by the Association of Pennsylvania State College and University Faculties, representing the faculty and coaches who are devoted to providing quality public higher education for Pennsylvania's college students.
Welcome back to Pennsylvania Newsmakers. Joining me now is Bob Latham, the Executive Vice President of Associated Pennsylvania Constructors, to talk about Pennsylvania highways. Bob, good to see you.
Good to be with you this morning.
Tell us a little bit about your organization and the issues that you focus on.
Certainly. We focus on highway and bridge issues in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, although the members of our association do all kinds of civil engineering and infrastructure work, airports, roads, bridges. We'll do transit capital as well. So we have about 150 construction companies that do, as I said, all the road work on the around the Commonwealth. So if you're held up in traffic due to a work zone, I'll put in my pitch, please slow down for the workers that are out there. It's our members that are doing that type of work. And then we have a lot of the designers that do the drawings and the plans as well.
So you were clearly paying very close attention to the budget discussions happening in Harrisburg between lawmakers and the governor. What's the status of those conversations and its potential impact on your members and our highways across Pennsylvania?
Certainly, yes. Public transit became part and parcel. Actually, the entire budget was wrapped around public transit. There was the hopes that there would be what I would call a longer-term deal, maybe a 5-year plan that would incorporate some additional funding for roads and bridges as well as public transit. As we talk today, it appears as though that plan has been set aside. Much publicized that the transit agencies from Philadelphia and we believe from Pittsburgh as well are going to have to go in and use some capital money to keep operating expenses going over the next 18 months, and that a deal that would also include additional funding for roads and bridges over and above what we have now has been set aside. So the whole thing, it's a little disappointing right now because as we see it, neither of those issues are going to go away. They're incorporated with each other, and they need to be addressed.
So from where you sit, what do you see as the impact to Pennsylvania's highways if that is the status quo, if that funding does not come?
Well, with regard to PennDOT's program, which is primarily what our members work on, PennDOT, it sounds like $3 billion a year is a lot of money, but when you look at the fact that we have 25,000 bridges that we have to maintain, we have 40,000 miles of road that we have to maintain, a portion of that goes to local government, 70,000 miles. So we've got a huge system that needs to be maintained. That program is about stagnant at that level. And what we've seen over the past 5 years is about 20% inflation. We're paving now about 41%. We're putting down about 40% less tons of asphalt, for example, than we were just 6 years ago. So our money isn't stretching the way it was. So the bottom line is that particularly our local and our rural roads are going to suffer as a result of that. And that impacts farmers, that impacts manufacturers, and that impacts safety of people throughout the Commonwealth.
Did the federal investment in infrastructure that was passed, did that help offset some of that? Has that been helping?
That bill was very helpful, but particularly on our major roads and our interstates.
Okay.
So for example, we've seen work on I-95, not just the fire repair, but other work down on I-95 in the southeast. We've seen bridge work out in Pittsburgh on interstates out there, and in the central Pennsylvania next year we'll open bids on a major reconstruction of the Interstate 83 bridge across the Susquehanna River here in Dauphin, Cumberland County. So yes, but the other side of the coin is that those major projects take up a lot of that $3 billion infrastructure plan or construction plan, and that leaves very little money for those more smaller local roads, particularly in rural areas.
I know you have an interim possible solution that you want to talk about, so we'll address that when we come back from this quick break right after this.
This broadcast of Pennsylvania Newsmakers is brought to you by the Pennsylvania Medical Society. Inspired physicians committed to the good health of Pennsylvanians and the advancement of the practice of medicine. This broadcast of Pennsylvania Newsmakers is brought to you by Pennsylvania American Water. We keep life flowing across the Keystone State.
Continuing our conversation about Pennsylvania's highways with Bob Latham. Bob, when we left, I alluded to a possible short-term solution that your organization is proffering. Can you tell us a little bit about what you're thinking?
Certainly, but to start with, I'd like to go back about 10 years, and we were part of a broad-based coalition that did include airports, transit agencies, local governments, et cetera, that addressed the total transportation system. It was known as Act 89. It was a very successful plan, but again, more than 10 years ago, and that's sort of run its course. So in the interim, while we're trying to find what is the next Act 89, we're looking at a short-term solution that could put some more pavement down on roads, make them more safe and better for agriculture and for manufacturing plants to get their product to market. So it's a very simple bonding program. It's a borrowing program. Over the years, we've been funding a lot of the state police budget out of gas taxes and user fees that motorists are paying. By continuing to move some of that money back to the motor license fund, that could be used as a payback mechanism for a short-term bonding program. By doing that, we could put about $600 million a year back out on the roads, which would maybe just tackle that inflation and allow us to put more pavement down and make our roads, particularly in the rural areas, more safe. We could pave about 500 miles a year, more than we are now. We could fix or replace about 75 bridges, more than we are now. And that would go a long way to kind of getting us to the point where we could maybe do that next step where we incorporate a transit a highway program, and also our airports need work. It's important to point out that we have public transit in 67 counties of the Commonwealth, but they all rely on good roads to get shared ride and local transit as well. So it all kind of works together. This short-term program that we have thinks would be kind of a stopgap measure to get us there.
Is that something you're hopeful could be implemented as part of the budget negotiation, or is it likely to come sometime after?
Well, we'd hope that, but I think that if it doesn't, we're going to continue to advocate for that down the road as well.
What would be, well, we hear so much about lack of bipartisanship these days. Is infrastructure investment one of those issues that does seem to have broader bipartisan support, or do you think you're going to run into any issues just given the challenges of getting work done in Harrisburg?
We have support from both sides of the aisle. Once again, infrastructure is something that touches us from Erie to Chester and from Pittsburgh to Philadelphia. Nobody's immune to that, and it doesn't matter what political party you're involved with. Obviously, public transit is very, very, very important to the Philadelphia region, the SEPTA program, Pittsburgh Regional Transit as well, and then the other ones in between. But everybody drives on roads, except for the rail portion of it. Every bus, every paratransit, every Uber car is on a road. So they all kind of have to work together. And the bottom line is, if we don't address it, either in the short term or the long term, it's not going away. The roads aren't getting any better by putting this aside. These statistics that I talked about, we're not paving more roads by ignoring it, and we're not fixing more, and they're not going to get any better by sort of a Band-Aid approach. So hopefully, and like I said, we do get support, I think, from everybody at this point.
Do you think the state's doing a good job in prioritizing the projects that need funding the most, given with existing dollars?
They have an impossible task, and our hat is off to PennDOT, and not just Secretary Carroll, who's doing a great job, but also the regional district executives and trying to keep all this together. Because remember, in addition to the construction work they're doing, they have to plow snow, they have to keep the local maintenance and all that kind of stuff as well. So it is quite a task. And yes, we think they do as good a job as possible. What they need, particularly in those rural areas, is more resources in order to improve and make the rural roads more safe.
We have just a short time left, but you told me during the commercial that your members are helping on the Pennsylvania Turnpike and involved there. And I think so many Pennsylvanians use that corridor and they see the changing in the tolling system. Are you involved in that as well?
Yes, as far as the construction is concerned, and that that's a potential wave of the future. I mean, we are going to have to look out into the future at a way to replace the gas tax. We have a transportation funding mechanism that is based on the consumption of a commodity that we're encouraged less consumption of. That doesn't work well against inflation. So at some point, whether it's tolling, whether it's some other road user fee of some sort, that's where we're going to have to go in order to have a robust road program. But yes, the Turnpike is one of the greatest roads of all time. It was the first interstate highway system first interstate highway, or the prototype for a limited access highway in the country.
Well, we're going to leave it there. Bob, thank you so much. It was great talking to you about the future of Pennsylvania's highways.
Appreciate it very much.
That's it for this edition of Pennsylvania Newsmakers. Thanks for being with us. We'll see you next time.